Hare Krishna. Question from Geeta Mataji. Why I have a Christian friend who says that Hinduism is a false religion because Hindus worship such horrible gods, such as a goddess who puts skulls around her head and is bloodthirsty. So how do we respond to this? Answer: the what we call as Hinduism today is a distorted expression of the broad system of worship that is coming from the Vedic literature. Now the Vedic literature themselves are inclusive in the sense that they are multiform, so that they can include people of various mentalities. So it's understood that different people have different natures, and according to their nature people will be attracted to different things. So some people will be attracted to some things which are sattvic. So actually in the Vedic tradition, the all of existence is analyzed in terms of three gunas: sattva, raja and tama. So sattva, or what is translated as illumination or goodness, that refers to things which are ennobling, things which are pure, things which are ethically and aesthetically appealing. Now rajoguna refers to those things which are passionate, involving a lot of action and action and gratification and shaking and moving and shakers and movers, as they say. That is passion, that is rajas. And then tamas, it is ignorance, which is primary darkness, which involves violence and destruction and lethargy. So now if you look today even at movies, some people like to watch documentaries which are educational and which depict things in a systematic educational living. Some people like to watch a lot of movies where there is sex and there is action, and there are some people who like to watch movies which are horror movies, where there are vampires and there are shapeshifters and there are scary things. And this is just the breadth in the entertainment industry itself can point us towards the breadth in the mentality of people. And what the Vedic tradition understands is that there will be this breadth of mentality, wide spectrum of mentality, even when people turn towards God. And if there is only one conception of God which is given to people, then not all people will be attracted to that conception of God. So in the Abrahamic religions, where there is only one God to talk about, and it said that this God is completely pure, utterly free from all sin, and that sort of conception of God which is there, it is true in the sense that yes, God has all those attributes, but not all people will be attracted towards that God. And when it is said that this is the only true God and all other gods are false gods, then a vast number of people who do not feel attracted towards such a God will have to stay on in illusion, in irreligion, because they don't feel inspired to devote themselves to such a God. So by creating such a steep requirement, the end result is that most people, a large number of people, are kept outside the house of religion. So it's like the house of religion is something and there's a huge wall all around it, and only those who can climb up that wall, that is, who can have faith in that one true God, only they are allowed inside the house of religion. Everyone else is kept out. And further, the idea is that anyone who is out is going to go to hell. So which is a further misconception, which portrays a very cruel God. You worship me or you are going to go to suffer in hell forever. It seems to be like a very power-hungry God, not a compassionate God at all. But apart from that, coming to the specifics of the forms that are worshipped within the Vedic tradition, the Vedic tradition recognizes that because different people have different mentalities, everybody will not be attracted to the same conception of God. And that's why the one God manifests in different ways. And some of these manifestations are like that same God manifesting directly. Other manifestations are his representatives who accept surrogate worship on his behalf to progressively elevate people. So the worship of Kali, where say she seems to be bloodthirsty, she has a tongue out, she has weapons in her hand, and she has skull. She has a necklace of skulls, a garland of skulls around her. Now this seems to be like a very ghastly image. But the point is that there are certain people who are in Tamoguna, and they will be attracted to such ghastly forms only. And they will, in the Vedic tradition also, there is this conception of God as Vishnu, where he is holding with a serene smile on his face, and Shankha Chakra Gada Padma is having, or this Krishna who is playing his flute, very endearing, ennobling, enchanting conception of God. But not everyone is going to be attracted to those conceptions of God. So recognizing this, the Vedic tradition doesn't want to leave, doesn't want to banish from the house of religion all those who are not attracted to this conception of this highest conception of God, this pure conception of God. That's why there are surrogate gods given, by worshipping whom one can become progressively elevated. So yes, rather than simplistically demonizing the Vedic tradition because of not understanding why some ghastly forms are being worshipped, one needs to go deeper and understand the breadth and depth of compassion that God manifests in the Vedic tradition, by which he allows himself, he himself manifests himself to receive worship. But when people are not ready to worship him, he manifests himself in various ways, and he arranges for his surrogates, for other devatas, to be worshipped on his behalf, by which people can become elevated. So people who are in Tamoguna, who are not going to be attracted to elevated conceptions of God, they become attracted to Kali, the forms of God such as Kali, and they start worshipping her. And by that, at least they start entering into the house of religion, and gradually they will get elevated. So there are visions, conceptions of God which are customized for people in Tamoguna. There are conceptions of God which are customized for people in Rajoguna, and there is the conception of God for people who are in Sattva and Shuddha Sattva, which is the highest conception of God. So there's a profound progression in the conceptions of God, which is a manifestation of the great compassion of God, that rather than making a stiff demand of faith in a particular conception alone and rejecting or condemning to hell anyone who doesn't accept that conception, which is what happens in Christianity. In the Vedic tradition, God exhibits his compassion through accommodation, through providing facilities for people to become connected with him through his multi-level manifestations. And Kali is a particular manifestation to attract people who are attracted to ghastliness and to bring them on the path of religiousness. There is no such provision which is there in the Abrahamic religion, in Christianity or in the Abrahamic religions, but it is the accommodatingness of the Vedic tradition that even people who are attracted to ghastly forms also have an opportunity to become included in the house of religion and to be situated in the path to progression. Thank you. Hare Krishna.